Hey kids, what's happening? Oh, I got a visitor today.
Oh, I didn't know you were filming. Hi, beautiful people. I haven't seen you in forever. What are you doing out here?
Just polishing up the bike a little bit.
Are you going riding without me?
No.
I wouldn't have known if I hadn't come out here.
No, I'm not going to go riding without you. I was just
Okay.
polishing the bike up a little bit, so.
Okay.
You'd hear if I pulled out of the driveway, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Sorry for the interruption. I didn't know you was filming. But good to see everyone.
That's perfectly fine. You're more than welcome to join me in the man cave today. I can't hardly blame my wife for not wanting me to take off without her. It's awful fun being out on the bike, and she likes to ride too when she can. So today, let me talk about another subject for those of you who ride. I think we all know that when we're on the motorcycle, we feel more vulnerable to situations on the road than if we were driving in a Chevy 2500 Silverado. Old school bikers refer to a vehicle as a cage. You're locked in a cage. When you're on the bike, you're free. It's freedom. I feel really safe in the truck, and I don't have a lot of concerns when I'm on the road. In fact, it's very comfortable. I feel very relaxed. And I feel very stress-free and relaxed on the bike, too. But I'm a lot more alert as to what lies in the road ahead. Now, I'm not talking about traffic so much today, but what's on the road. And a lot of times, you'll see roadkills. And if I'm driving in a car or a truck, it's not a big deal. I just don't want it splattered up on my rims or anything, so I'll try to avoid it. But if I were to run over it, it's just like a bump bump and you just keep going, and it's not a big deal. On a motorcycle, however, it could be quite a bit more serious if you were to hit a roadkill. So, I try to look ahead, and if I see something in the road, I actually try to avoid it. Now, I generally ride close to the center line, in that tire line there, closer to the center line, because I'm out there in the middle where I have just a little bit more reflex or reaction time to dodge anything that were to come up. I know I've seen some guys that like to ride right over along the berm there, along that white line. And to me, that's a little more dangerous, because if something were to come up out of the ditch, something were to come out of the woods, you don't have a lot of reaction time to get, make an evasive maneuver. Whereas if I'm out like more in the center of the road, I just have that much more of an edge to make that evasive maneuver to try and avoid something in the road. Because a roadkill is kind of an inanimate object. It's just laying there, so it's easy to like go left or right, go around it, and keep going. But now you also have the living things that can pop out. One of my biggest worries are deer, because out here in northeast Ohio, and we're very rural out here, so yeah, there's a lot of deer, and among other things, there's always animals out and about, especially at dusk. I don't know, I'm sure a lot of you guys have stories about deer coming out in front of you, and I've seen videos of deer jumping in front of motorcycles, actually sometimes, being hit by a deer, and that could be pretty serious. But it reminds me to a time back, I used to always hang out at the biker bar years ago. Now, it's probably going on close to 17, 18 years now since I've hung out at the bar. But that used to be my home away from home, and I knew everybody there, and I used to hang out up there quite a bit. Like, not every day, but pretty close to every day. So when I walked in the room, I knew everybody knew me. That's kind of the way it was. there was a guy up there that used to always tell a story about how he was riding on his Ultra. And he was going probably about 80 mile an hour, he says. He was on a rural road, and out of nowhere, a deer jumps in front of him. Well, he says he didn't have time to react. He was going too fast. And he said he aimed right for the center of the deer. And he says when he hit the deer, he said he actually split the deer in half, and he just kept right on going. He told that story very factually, and he swore that it was the truth, that it actually happened to him. But the more I thought about that story, you know, I said that it's gotta be a false. It's gotta be a tall tale, because if you're going 80 miles an hour and you hit a deer broadside, the impact is going to be so great that you're probably going to go over the handlebars. And if you're going to hit that deer so hard, I don't think there's any way that you could split a deer in half with a motorcycle. Maybe if you had like a machete tied to the front of your bike, a razor edge that would cut it in half. But, I mean, what on the front of a motorcycle is going to split a deer in half? It's more of a broad whack. That thing would just whack right in there, and I don't think there'd be much splitting in half. And it would do so much damage to your bike that you couldn't keep going. So I would call that one a tall tale for sure. I just have to call that one BS. But he told that story repeatedly in there and made everybody believe that was really true, that it really happened. What do you think? Fact or fiction? Could you split a deer in half with a Harley-Davidson Ultra going 80 mile an hour? I find it hard to believe. As far as things in the road, though, my personal experience is the only one that I can really think of that really shook me up, and luckily nothing really happened out of it, but I was coming home one night and it was late and it was dark and it was foggy. Well, you know what it's like riding in the fog on a motorcycle, especially when you have a windshield. You get that constant dew coming back at you, and the windshield, if it completely fogs up from the moisture hitting it, and then you got the water starting to run off the edges, so you can't really see through your windshield. So you find yourself raising up and looking over the top of the windshield, trying to see the road ahead of you. And so I'm going along and it's foggy, and I'm looking over the top of the windshield, and of course I have my shades on too, my eye protection, so I'm trying to look underneath those, and I'm squinting, and I come around this S-curve, and there's a great big raccoon in the middle of the road. Only to make it more complicated, there was like 5 baby raccoons that were right there with her. At that point, and I wasn't going any more faster than what the speed limit was at that time, because you know the conditions, there was a low visibility. But I was sure I was going to run these raccoons over, and there was nowhere I could go. There was really, at that time, because of the as quick as it happened, there wasn't anything I could do but just go through, and I just almost like cringed, grabbed on tight to the handlebars because I was waiting for the thump, and somehow I passed through all of them and never even grazed one of them, didn't even hurt one of them. And I was able to slow down, and I looked back behind me, and they were all waddling off the road. I didn't even hurt a hair on one of them, so I was thankful about that. But thank God, thank Jesus, I have never had an issue with something else, running in front of me. I've had a couple dogs come out of a yard barking and snapping, but by the time they get out to the road, I'm already gone. And that's why I'm talking about, if you're going to ride over on the edge of the road and that's your line, you're more prone to having something come up out of the road and hit you and not have enough time to react to avoid that. you know, and now aside from the animals, you do want to watch for potholes in the road. You hit a pothole with a truck, boom, boom, you're through it. But I have heard stories, and I've hit a few potholes that pretty much bottom out my shocks on the bike. Wham! And that's not a good story. It's a sickening sound to hear when you're on a motorcycle, to hear your shocks slam all the way up, hear your forks slam all the way up and bottom out because you hit a pothole. I've seen where guys even have bent their rims and blew out their tire because of hitting a pothole on a motorcycle and doing some extensive damage to their bike, even as far as dropping the bike. So you want to kind of look out for that stuff too. I don't know. Like I said, when you're on the road, there's a lot of things to look out for. There's a lot of hazards. You got to watch for traffic. You got to watch for these idiots on cell phones, big time. But you also got to watch the road in front of you and the surface and what's coming up. If you're riding with a group and you see something first, give the hand signal, point to it, make people aware of where it is, you know, in regards to where you're riding, so that they can see you're warning them that they need to avoid whatever's in the road. Well, I'm going to get back to my polishing here and take the road dust off the bike for now. I like to keep it in good shape, keep it shiny, and dare I go out for a ride today? I better go check with her first, because it sounds like if I go anywhere on the bike, she's going to want to come along too. So there you go, cats. That's my story for today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give me a thumbs up. Put your comments down below. If you haven't yet, subscribe to my videos. I'd love to have you on board, and we'll chat some more. But until next time, guys, ride hard and die free.